Hi, everybody. Hello. It's Heather. I am here with Nigel. Nigel is currently off screen. Well, there he is. Nigel will be reading your comments and will be kicking in once in a while. Thank you to everybody who's here with us for our sort of like inaugural episode of Have I Got Nudes for You? Hi, Liz. It's okay if it's dinner time. I put it up to a vote. I knew this time may not work for everybody, but this is the time of night that got the most votes. In fact, the day and time were selected based on a poll that I put on the community tab, and this is what most people said that they liked was Friday nights at 8 p.m. So I can make that work. And if we need to change that, we will play around and check it out. But for now, it's going to be 8 p.m. on Saturdays or Fridays. Oh my gosh, I'm like a time traveler. I'm so used to doing these live streams on Saturdays that I just automatically was like Saturday nights. So if you have never seen these videos before and you don't know the premise, don't worry. I will catch you up to speed. We've got lots of ground to cover, and I have prepared for this quite a bit, so hopefully it goes well. This, as I mentioned, is an episode of Have I Got Nudes for You? And feel free to ask questions and comment as much as you like. I'm not going to answer them right now, but I will pause periodically for Nigel to have that little Q&A, and we can go over your comments and answer any questions you have. So for right now, I just want to let everybody know what the premise is. So it's kind of like an exclamation, like, have I got nudes for you? Or like a question, have I got nudes for you? Question mark. And that's because this series, all of these series installments, including the ones that were like edited formal YouTube videos on their own, they were all based on something that's kind of like a personal pet peeve of mine. And that is that, you know, they really need to standardize what a nude eyeshadow is and what a nude lip is. Like, they really need to like figure out what these industry terms mean and kind of standardize them, because they're confusing as heck the way that they are now. And as you probably noticed, I said heck. That's because we're on the main channel and I am sober. And this is a pretty formal, normal live stream. If you want something that's a little bit more casual, laid back, where we're drinking and just kind of talking loose, that's going to happen tomorrow night, 6 p.m. on CysterWigs After Dark, our more casual channel. But yes, I absolutely can't stand it when I go to buy a nude eyeshadow and then it's like not at all, not even close. And then I can't wear it. Or, you know, maybe I'll wear it for a night out, but it won't work for the office, you know, back when I had to go work at an office, you know, or it won't work if I go to church or to visit, you know, my mom. You know, like I want it to be something, you know, that looks kind of natural, almost like no makeup, which is actually a lot harder to find than it would seem, because, you know, I have an adventurous spirit. I want to try different things and incorporate more colors than just like mauve and taupe into my like nude makeup. I'm not afraid to go adventurous, but it's nice to have some variety. So today I'm kind of excited to show you this, which is the one that got the most votes on the CysterWigs channel. This is the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. It's got a lot of gold tones in it, as the packaging and name would kind of let you believe. So this is either going to be a really wonderful, innovative palette that has a lot of, you know, gold tones in it, or it's just going to be gold and very dramatic and difficult to pull off. And really, that is a fine line sometimes, really, really fine. And I cross it on occasion. And that's because I'm so pale that it's very easy to overwhelm my skin. And I'm sure a lot of you are kind of in the same boat. So this ought to be helpful to you guys, even if you don't really have any interest in this palette, because if you have a similar complexion to me and something really works for me, it might give you an opportunity to try something new, or avoid something that you're like, what is she doing? That is terrible. Like, good or bad, it might be helpful. So as I mentioned, the name of the series is kind of a question and a statement. And I'm going to let that kind of scroll across the screen in case anybody joins us late, just so they can have an idea of what the premise of this entire video is about. It definitely is a good companion to the Have I Got Nudes For You installations that I've done in the past. So the eyeshadows that I do for this series will be selected by you. So make sure that you check out our community tab at least once a week so you can vote for which one you want to see. And I'll leave like a little description, like very succinct little summary of what that palette's about, so you kind of know without having to research them. And the day and time for this stream was also determined by polls on the community tab, which is how I'm just going to keep trying to do things from here on out. And just so you know, this is not a paid endorsement. I paid for this product out of my own pocket. And the only thing that I really need to disclose is I sell these here, which are part of the show. There are 3 wigs. Actually, it's the same wig in 3 different colors. I'm actually going to raise this up a little bit so maybe you can see them a little bit better. Okay. So let's see. Just so you know what I've got here, and I'll mention this a few times throughout the live stream in case people join us a little bit later on so they know what we've got in store. Yes, there are wigs involved with these videos. To me, this is part of how we test the eyeshadow palettes, because a true neutral eyeshadow palette should go with everything. So I've got a warm color here, and I'll talk a little bit more about this color in just a few minutes, but this is actually our caramel latte. It's a new color we introduced specifically for juniper, and that's what this wig is. I will be putting all of these on when I'm done doing the eyeshadow look. I have a cool color. This is also our juniper wig, and this is in Harlow Blonde. Okay. And this is the Moonlit Orchid, which is the wild card. I always like to throw in one that's a little weird, just because I like colors that are a little out there, because a true neutral eyeshadow should go with that too. And I tried to wear kind of like warm, neutral kind of oatmeal colors to try to make sure I don't clash with this. Hey, Nigel, I'm getting like a little error on my screen. Can you please verify that everybody can see us on Moon Kitty, on the CysterWigs group on Facebook? You know, the 3 destinations there. Just kind of check them out. Make sure that everybody can see them.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so while he's checking that out, I'm going to kind of filibuster a little bit more. So if you're just joining us, as I mentioned, we are going to test the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. This is a $49 palette. That's how much I paid for it. You can get it at Sephora, Ulta, Macy's, the Urban Decay website, which is where I ordered this, and a bunch of other places. And this is a pretty well-known brand. You know, if I had to summarize this brand, I would say their heyday was definitely the early aughts. It was kind of revolutionary when they came out with their Naked palette, like the original Naked palette. It made huge waves. Naked 3 is still being sold in stores because it's so popular. So this is kind of like an extension off of those existing products. Now, in my opinion, particularly after taking a look at this honey palette, and I also have the ultraviolet. So if you have any interest in me adding that to the poll, the Urban Decay ultraviolet, let me know. But after looking at these 2 most recent releases, and I haven't gotten the Wild West one because of this, it looks like they're kind of like naked in name only. You know, it's like that. I'm skeptical about how much utility you're going to be able to get out of these more recent releases as nude or neutral makeup palettes. I think that in general is that I've been playing around with this one. I made a video and put it on Patreon of the tests that I did playing around with this, and I was impressed by how bold some of the colors look. The shimmers are really glorious, and you'll see that in a moment. But when it comes to the more nude aspects of that, what we're going to be testing tonight, I am still kind of a skeptic because it's real warm. Speaking of which, I should probably just open it up and show you the palette since I keep talking about it. The packaging is delicious. Like, this is beautiful. The color is really beautiful, but it definitely gives you some foreshadowing about what is coming our way. I'm going to take this brush out because I don't use the built-in makeup brush. It's a double-sided makeup brush. This is the palette. What's the news, honey?
Hi, yeah, it's working okay on the main CysterWigs Facebook page, but not on the Moon Kitty.
All right, well, can you reconnect it?
I'll try.
All right, I think that might be something I'll have to help him with. If you hopefully, you know, Nigel, honey, Nigel, dear, darling, husband, can you just leave a message in Moon Kitty letting people know they can see it on the main page and then maybe link to it? That way we don't have to try to do tech troubleshooting in the middle of the stream.
Oh, righty, will do.
Yeah, I swear we prepared for this. It's just spontaneously it disconnected, I think. C'est la vie. Back to the shadows. You can see we have a lot of different very warm colors going on here, and I'm probably going to stay away from most of the shimmers for this particular look because I was playing around with them, and you can see them on that Patreon video that I made. They're very bold. They're very, very sparkly. Like there's no way really that oh goodness, it seems like Facebook is being glitchy. So my apologies if you're having issues looking at this on Facebook. I've not had this issue with any of our previous streams, but it's literally kicking off error after error on the screen. So I'm just gonna keep going, but definitely, hopefully they know that they can still watch this on YouTube if they're having difficulty on Facebook. So anyhow, good thing for redundant hosting. Let me see if I've got anything else in here that I want to talk about before I get into this. So yeah, I'm going to discuss this palette. I'm going to create a look live on the fly, and then we're going to test it. Test 1, is it nude? Can you make a natural look with this palette? Is it work appropriate? Could you wear it to church, etc.? Would people think that you look like you're going to a disco, or that you just look really polished? Disco. Aw. I love disco though. So test 2 is it neutral? And that is, does this eyeshadow palette work with all outfits, skin tones, and hair colors? We will use 3 different wigs for this test. And tonight's test wig colors will be the Moonlit Orchid R, as I mentioned earlier. Now I designed all of these colors. Moonlit Orchid R is a color I designed for our heat-friendly limited collection, and I loved it so much, and it was such a good seller that and I love purple hair, so I decided to make this in the non-heat friendly synthetic. And then this is how it turned out. It looks really beautiful. It has a very soft root. It's kind of like a number 10 root. And then it's definitely purple. It's going to look purple in all lighting. It's definitely going to be kind of on the opposite end of the color wheel to this palette, which I also thought might make this really an interesting test color. And this wig is Juniper, which is beautiful. She's got these shadowed, kind of deconstructed, shaggy ends. And I can't wait to show you what she looks like on with this eye color. The warm color, oh, I've got this somewhere. Where is it? The warm color I've got is our Caramel Latte R, and this has not been combed, styled, washed, so she's a little shiny, but you can definitely see the color. It's a really soft, kind of like in between light and medium brown. It's got some caramel brown mixed in, a little bit of blonde. It's kind of like the slightly darker, non-heat friendly equivalent of our caramel macchiato color. So this is Caramel Latte, and the reason why I changed the name is because this was what happened when I attempted to make Caramel Macchiato in a non-heat friendly fiber, and it turned out a little darker. So I wanted to change the name so people knew there was a subtle difference. But it is very pretty, and it should hit that sweet spot for anybody who really liked the Caramel Macchiato. Or maybe something like, you know, Shaded Peach by John Renault and stuff like that. It's along that same kind of like almost auburn, almost brown wheelhouse. And then, of course, our Harlow Blonde. And this is also in Juniper. All three of these are in our Juniper wig. And our Harlow Blonde is a creamy champagne blonde. It's a platinum and champagne, like pale champagne blonde mix. And so it is dynamic, but it's definitely meant to look like a very, very, very light, natural blonde with a definite cool undertone to it. And then the rooting here on this one is a 14. So it is warm. It's kind of like a honey blonde color, but you can see that the rooting is softer and it is shorter on the non-heat friendly version of this wig. So those are going to be what we use to test the versatility of the look I come up with and whether or not it's neutral. So yeah. What's up, honey? What'd you find out?
Well, for some reason, it says it's not working on the main Facebook page, and yet it is. So I sent a link in Moon Kitty saying that you can watch it here on the main Facebook page or on the YouTube channel, and yet at the same time, Paulina says the YouTube keeps kicking her off on her big screen. So
oh goodness gracious, it's like we can't win for losing today.
I know. Oh well. Meanwhile,
tested this.
Big Red Froggy.
That's asparagus. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Asparagus the frog.
All righty. I will leave you to it then, my treasure.
All righty. And little side note, today I tried a new foundation. This is the second time I've tried this foundation and I don't like it. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear in 1N1. It just kicked off another error and I just dismissed them again. Fun. I think it looks cakey. I'm a little annoyed because I tried to thin it out and then I tried to thin it out with a setting spray that kind of hydrates and kind of like gets rid of that powdery layer. I could not get rid of it. So if my base makeup looks a little cakier than normal, my apologies. This is what I get for trying something new. I should just stick to my holy grails. But then what kind of adventurous YouTuber would I be, or proto YouTuber? Nigel, I think I want to pause for some comments since we haven't done that yet. Would you like to take that over a little bit? Honey?
Yeah, okay. People are saying that, getting all sorts of stuff. Hi, Diane.
Hello.
Helen says you may be experiencing technical difficulties, but I appreciate your efforts.
Thank you, Helen. I swear, we're going to get this nailed down at some point. We keep trying to push it a little bit more and learn more each time, but it's like no matter how good we think we're getting at this, it's like Murphy's Law sets in to humble us.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I just checked the main Facebook page again, and it's streaming perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It says it lost contact, and yet it's still going.
Shh, don't let it hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't let on.
Alrighty.
I don't know. Maybe Zuckerberg is watching and he's pushing a button saying, mess with them now.
Hey, Data, leave us alone. Let us get on with stuff. Jamie pre-ordered Harlow Blonde.
Yes, thank you. It's so cute on this juniper style. And I can't wait to showcase Mirabella in this one either, because I didn't have one handy to show people what this color, how this color actually turned out. It turned out so pretty. It's actually a little cooler, I think, like in tone. I think it's a little bit more platinum than the heat-friendly version, and I kind of like that about it. It's kind of like if the heat-friendly versions of the Illuminati R and the Harlow Blonde had a baby, it'd be the non-heat-friendly version of our Harlow Blonde. I'm like petting it. Do you ever do that? Like sometimes when you have a wig and it's not on your head, you're just like, yeah. It's like tribbles. Got any other comments, honey?
Paulina says, oh, love the blue nails. By the way, hi, Nigel. Hi, Paulina. Oh, and happy St. George's Day to everyone.
Oh, yes. Is there anything we should do to celebrate?
Well, there's alcohol.
That's tomorrow.
We can do that later.
Yeah, that's tomorrow. Let's save it for tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the new Mortal Kombat movie dropped today.
Is that thematic with St. George's Day?
There's fighting, and I think there's some reptilian things in there. So yes,
close enough. I think by guy logic, it works.
Yeah, there you go.
Anything else?
Diane says, it's okay. I love you guys. No.
Like basically just like maybe a couple more and then we'll move on and I'll start doing the palette and putting the look.
Alrighty. Just got a couple more anyway. Faith says she ordered strawberry shake.
Oh, yay. That color is super cute too.
And Kat says, I ordered 2. I have no shame.
I'll feel that. I'm the same way.
Thank you.
Like I have all these prototypes and I still kind of feel like I should get like extra just so that way if I wear them out I have extra and I make them, right? Like so I think that impulse is very real and hard to shake. I feel that way with makeup too. I've got like a secret stash of makeup over next to me so if I run out of my holy grails I have more readily available. All right, well I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the thingies we've got over here. So now that I have shown you these wigs, I have unlocked shameless self-promotion achieved. It's like that box has been checked. Okay, so let's talk about this palette that I'm gonna hold up the box one more time so you can kind of see the box really, really well. It says on the back, the Naked Honey eyeshadow palette is raw and sticky sweet. Is it just me or does Def Leppard immediately start playing in your head when you hear me say that? Because it immediately started playing in mine and it kind of threw me for a loop. It's raw and sticky sweet from its head to its feet. No, just the way nature intended. This hive of 12 exclusive golden neutrals. Okay. Includes classic golds, warm ambers, and rich chocolate browns. Now here's the thing. Something is not neutral just because somebody says it's neutral. I'm just throwing that out there as my 2 cents. I'm still kind of like golden neutrals. Yeah. All right. So still skeptical. Reach for our go-to shade amber. It practically glows. So which one's amber? Oh, it's this sparkly one. That is kind of like a bronzy color. We will probably not be using that today just because I have tested all these colors and this is one that is definitely really, 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 really bold on me. Definitely not even close to being something I could get away with and say, hey, that's a no makeup thing. Very pretty color though. Like you saw how easily that just kind of swiped right on there. Just beautiful bronze color. But definitely bronzy. Let's see. Create the perfect hazy smoked out eye with Sting, a warm brown matte. Oh, I have used this color. We will probably be using this today, so I will hold off on swatching that one. Or get hooked on honey, an intense gold metallic for the ultimate 70s statement eye. They're not kidding. This color. And I mentioned this in that Patreon pre-stream test for this. I love this color. It is extremely yellow, though. It is an extremely yellow gold. It's not particularly opaque. It does have a nice pigmentation, but it's definitely a soft kind of buttery yellow gold color. But they're not kidding. The disco element is very real for that color. And again, I probably will not be using it in this look. We'll see how far I can push it before I'm like, nope, it's a little bit too glam. It's kind of the opposite of what we're trying to achieve here. And it says our buzzed out palette is a keeper with everything you need to create a swarm of looks from bright and sunny to dangerous and dark. And that's really their copy there. I do like that on the packaging, they show you what all of these colors are supposed to look like. That's something they do on all Urban Decay naked palettes. And I think that's really a cool touch because it kind of helps you know what you're in for, even if you don't have access to like a sample to look at. Alrighty. Here are some of my hot takes on this palette after doing those tests, which included me doing multiple eye looks and a whole bunch of stuff. So the color story is very cohesive. All the colors play well together. You know, the color story is really good, but it's really limiting. because it's not particularly versatile. Any look you make with this palette is going to look really gold, in my opinion. Now, I haven't tried an intentionally nude look yet. I was saving it to do live on the stream, so maybe I'll be wrong. We'll have to see. There are 7 mattes. We've got Flyby, Sweet, Swarm, Keeper, Hive, Drip, and Sting are all the matte shades. In my opinion, application of the mattes is slightly powdery but buildable, and Urban Decay shadows, in my experience, can be amped up very easily with a moist application or just using a primer, which there is Urban Decay primer potion in Eden on my lids already. The shimmers are Amber, Golden, Honey, Queen, and HBIC. I think that Queen is a really interesting color, by the way, because it's the only color in here that has kind of an olive base to it. So it's a really nice color to add a little bit of contrast, but I don't know if it's enough because everything else in here is very warm. And these shimmers are really nice. They apply really easily with minimal fallout or kickback. They're better than the mattes in this regard. They are very vibrant though, and they may not look particularly nude on anybody. Even that Queen color, because it's just, they're a little intense and very, very sparkly. So now I'm going to make a look. And then while I'm doing this and kind of playing around, I'm going to let Nigel kind of take over and read some of your comments. So feel free to let us know any questions you might have about this palette. And then once I'm done making a look, I'll try the wigs on. And if you have questions about the wigs, I can answer them at that time too. So, Nigel.
My treasure.
Yes, love.
Okay. Well,
a little bit.
Hey, Deb said her Def Leopard.
Yes, me too.
Jessica Fallen says, hey, pretty lady.
Hello.
And Kat B says she ordered Ravens and Roses and Mermaid Kisses.
Oh, yay. I almost picked the Mermaid Kisses for this particular stream because I love that color so much. And people keep asking me, you know, if it's like the Unicorn Swirl in our limited collection. It's not. The Unicorn Swirl is much more of a like vibrant pastel, whereas Mermaid Kisses is meant to look like shimmer on the water. It's deliberately a little bit opalescent, you know, opalescent. No, it's a little bit more iridescent, so the color isn't quite as intense. And just in case you're wondering, I'm applying Flyby, which is kind of like their primer color here, to my eye in with a Sonia G Crease 2 brush. Becca
says hi.
Hi, Becca.
And that's about it, really, for the comments. They've just sort of tapered off after a while.
That's all right.
Oh, here we go.
They're mesmerized by my application.
Jessica, that's more of something you'd have to ask the customer service people because we don't have the stock information on our home.
Yes, we get our inventories directly from Raquel Welch's warehouse. We do not really keep much in the way of a standing inventory at CysterWigs. And so yeah, what you're seeing from our inventory levels are exactly what is in stock at Raquel Welch's warehouse. So if they're out of stock, chances are they're going to be out of stock of that particular thing everywhere, unless that particular store has a large standing inventory, which most don't. Okay. So far, so good. This Flyby is a really nice kind of base color. Might apply a little bit more over here. My eyes are a little irritated because yesterday and the day before I was playing around with the Sydney Grace Enduring Love to prepare for next week. And yeah, some of the colors in there kind of irritate my eye. So I will definitely let you guys know everything about that next week during next Friday's installment of this series, because I definitely don't want anybody to go through what I've gone through the last couple of days with my eyes. I mean, I think that it's only a couple of colors in there, and I'll explain it when we get there. But yeah, if my eyes look a little puffy today or a little extra creasy, it's because they were really irritated by the tests. So better me than you. Let's see here. We've got this one over here, the sweet color. I think I want to start with that. I'm going with the Worker 3 by Sonia G. which has kind of a flat head on it. It's still a little bit fluffy. It's not a real compact bristle brush. And I'm just going to draw my crease a little bit. I'm going to build this up though and add more to it. I just want to start off really slow just in case, you know, a little bit goes a long way. But I could barely see that. I mean, I could see I'm applying something, but it's really subtle. And this was something I noticed in my tests too, is that the lighter colors and some of the mattes, they're so similar to each other and the payoff isn't really that intense. So maybe they're a bit too subtle for some folks or a little too samey. I'm gonna go in with Swarm, which is this kind of like, it's almost like an orange dreamsicle kind of color. It's definitely got more of that honey warmth in it. And I'm gonna go here on the outside a little bit. I gotta be careful though, because I don't want this to go too crazy, because then it definitely won't look nude or neutral. Do you guys ever try eye makeup that doesn't go with your skin tone particularly well? Like, are you like a naturally warm skinned person who likes to try cool eyeshadows, or are you somebody who has naturally very cool skin who likes to try warm ones? Because I definitely, that's something for me, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, like I don't want anybody to ever feel like I believe that, you know, there's a limit on what you can do if you really want to when it comes to this stuff. Like, it's not just meant to enhance your natural features, though I know philosophically some people feel that that is what makeup's for. For me, it's meant to do that, but it's also meant to be a form of creative expression. And if you pigeonhole yourself to doing the exact same natural look over and over and over again, the same thing you've been doing since you were 20, over and over and over again, then you don't really get to experience the creative payoff. It's very functionalist when you do makeup that way. And frankly, it's not always very flattering, because the beauty of your face isn't just how aesthetically pleasing you or other people think it is. It's that it's a canvas in evolution. Like, it is something that constantly changes. It can change based on what you ate, what you drank, how you slept. You know, and it changes with time. And the more you experiment, the more you get to know about your particular face and what you can and cannot get away with, what makes you feel good when you wear it. And frankly, sometimes it's shocking to people, even with wigs. I'm constantly recommending stuff to people that they normally would not pick for themselves, because they're not aware of the fact that they've been picking the exact same hairstyle since they were like teenagers in some cases. And as you evolve, you know, like, I'm not going to say mature or age, because it's not about age. It's as you change and as you evolve, you need to learn new skills. You know, I lost a ton of weight and my skin acts nothing like it used to. It is a lot more prone to drying out and a whole bunch of stuff. And the shape of it changed. So I had to learn on the fly, like how to redo all of my makeup. And that's how it really stood out to me, that like, oh, well, snap. I bet a lot of people get stuck in ruts where they've got this comfort zone and they stick to it, and they're really afraid to try other things when those other things might look better. Those other things might make them feel more like themselves. Because I realized when I stopped trying to do my makeup like I was a 270-pound woman when I weighed 165, I realized that the dimensions and the angles of my face had changed. And I'm not as symmetrical, believe it or not, because when I lost weight, I did not do so symmetrically. So I've got a little bit more volume here than I do on this side. And then learning how to account for that. Like, you got to be able to look at yourself without judging it, you know, and just kind of balance things out without being mad about the stuff you don't like. It's just, it's there, and it's a challenge to overcome. You know what I mean? Nigel, let's pause for some comments while I try to figure out what the heck to do next with this.
All righty. J-Deb says, I've done it by accident when I like a color, but it doesn't like me. I'm of the age where I had many years of 1980s electric blue eyeshadow.
I still love that stuff. But I still think if you do it strategically and you do it well, it shows off your skill, you know, and it can look really cool. It just depends on what you do with it. But if trying to apply it like a 20-year-old YouTuber, not gonna go well. Even for those YouTubers sometimes, because they have to like Photoshop the crap out of their images afterwards.
Andrea says, I'm naturally cool and tend to stick with cool shades. I just look awful in yellows. I can get away with rust and olive in the fall. And she also says, I've been experimenting with different wig colors, red, gray, deep brown, and have been switching foundations to better match wig colors, which has given me more freedom in eyeshadow colors.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. I mean, it's all part of a vocabulary, you know, and it's like your beauty vocab and you're building it up. And then there might be some words you don't like if you don't like really warm eyeshadows. I am usually very intimidated by warm eyeshadows for a very similar reason. But that's kind of why I'm like, all right, game on. I'm going to try it out. Even if it looks hideous, at least I'll know I attempted it. And then if I pull it off, it's like, yeah. Hi, Erin.
Erin says, totally agree. I love trying new things, and I have so much makeup but normally go for the same semi-natural look. You inspired me, and I have great big Tetris-inspired palette on the way.
Yes. Oh, that sounds so cool. Tetris. Who makes that? I think I heard something about that, but I forgot who released that. But I must know more because that sounds.
Helen says, good advice. Don't be afraid to go outside your comfort zone.
That's right. And I mean, honor your budget because that goes along with it too, because going out of your comfort zone can be addictive. So addictive. And then you want everything all the time. And, you know, so I highly advise setting a budget. But yeah, definitely try new stuff.
Billy says, I have grayish blue eyes and a hint of blues makes my eyes pop, but I have to be light-handed. And one more that's cropped up recently. Jessica Fawn says, do you have a favorite wig? If so, which one? And also, what color is your favorite?
I do not have a favorite. It's literally like asking me to pick my favorite child. And I know that's super cliche, but it's like I have so many wigs. I have so many wigs. Nigel is smiling and keeping a polite silence and just blinking. I have so many wigs. It's an issue, really.
No, I'm smiling and blinking because I've just got some information in from Erin. It's at Ulta.
Oh my goodness! All right, I gotta check that out. And if it's at Ulta, I can probably afford it. So yay! With some of this other stuff, I have to be really careful because I mean, I wait till they go on sale. Like all that Natasha Denona stuff I buy and the Pat McGrath, I totally just wait until it goes on sale. I like monitor their websites like a hawk because they usually run better sales on their own standalone sites than they do through like anywhere else they're sold, like Beautylish or something like that. And yeah, definitely don't buy them full price. They're super expensive. But that's how I ended up with a collection of them, is I was buying them whenever they would have really crazy sales. And I just buy a whole bunch at once because those kind of discounts don't happen very often. I did apply some of this Keeper color, which is a like burnt sienna almost over here. It's not quite as brown as a burnt sienna, but it's definitely orangey. And you can see how warm that's been right here. It's a lot. I might add a little bit more of this white over here because it seems like I went a little heavier handed on the one side than the other still. Maybe that's just the lighting, but I'll make sure that this inner corner gets that pop of light because as I go with these darker colors, I'm going to need it. I don't think I want to go too much darker than this just because it's definitely showing up and it's still kind of like in that could almost be no makeup territory. If I go too much heavier, I'm going to be out of that box. And I'm going to blend that a little bit more. I just want to make sure they're even. So far I've only used 3 matte colors. I've used the Flyby, the Sweet, and actually used 4, sorry. Flyby as the base, Sweet, Swarm as the crease out here, and then I used Keeper up here. but I didn't go all the way in because I want that to be really nice and open and white in the inner corner there. So let's see. I think I want to just use more colors, but use them as a liner, kind of like just a really soft kind of smudgy liner. And I think the one I'm going to run with is probably Sting. It is a chocolatey brown color, but it has almost like a reddish undertone to it. Okay, I think my laptop just died, but that's all right. So Nigel, I'm going to need you to take over the slides, honey. All right.
Although Erin says it's an 80 pan palette for $45.
80 pans. What would I even? That's like a overwhelming playground. Like
yeah,
what?
I've called up the website on another tab, so we can go to that later. Okay.
Yes, I at least want to look at it.
Sure.
80 pan. Man, I don't know. I would probably see at this point I'm starting to get a little intimidated by really, really large eyeshadow palettes because I have several. You know, like I have that Morphe James Charles palette. I've never used it like ever, and I've had it for over a year now, and it's just kind of sitting back there. In light of what a turd he's turned out to be, I'm kind of glad that I never used it and didn't fall in love with it. But you know, it's got so many shadows in it that I don't even know what to do with it. I have those ginormous 28 pan, and they're only 28 pan Natasha Denona ones, and I haven't played with those much at all either, just because they do. It's like overwhelming sometimes how many options you get. Man, I wish that this under eye did not look so cakey. So yeah, I probably will not be using that Estee Lauder foundation again. Have you guys ever used Estee Lauder Double Wear? I know that it was really popular before that whole dewy skin sensation took off. And a lot of YouTubers swore by it, like it was their holy grail. And I never tried it because I was pretty happy with the foundations that I was using. But holy moly, I have to imagine that maybe this is one that looks really good with filters, but is not really all that in person. Or maybe I just haven't found the magic trick to make this particular foundation work. I'm like self-conscious over how cakey it looks to me. Oof. And believe it or not, I'm deliberately trying my best to make this soft. It's just these colors are so warm. We knew that going into this, though. Okay. I'm going to do this other side now. I have really round eyes, so a lot of the time I like to go a little bit higher up in this outer corner. Oh, Nigel, do you have comments you want
to? Billy says I have, but I switched back to IT cos.
Yeah, their stuff is good too, and in fact, I used a little bit of their powder on top of this foundation to try to like. It's so weird. I was using very finely milled powder to try to get rid of some of the cakiness because I had tried breaking it up a little bit with some moisture surge spray. I tried setting spray to try to break it up, and it's still not my favorite. It's full coverage. It does do that. It gave me a really nice even skin tone, but I can even feel that it's like drying my skin out a little bit. I'm not used to that.
April says I used to use it when I was younger, but now I love the EL Futurist Hydra Rescue Foundation.
Ooh, we'll have to write that one down because I don't know if I've heard of that one. I have been using Makeup Forever, and I use some NARS stuff too that I really like. But I'm still open to trying new foundations. I did not enjoy the Fenty foundation or their like the Pro Filter stuff or the primer because it made my face break out real bad. So it's worth noting, yeah, especially if you're acne prone. Anything else, Nigel, honey?
Shelly says, looks great so far.
Thank you. I'm trying to keep it soft.
And Andrea says, I haven't tried double wear. My current favorite is Charlotte Tilbury airbrushed.
She's got some nice stuff. Charlotte Tilbury, very nice base products. I love the Hollywood Flawless filter. I should have added it to this foundation. Maybe that's how I make it workable, is blending it with that stuff. But maybe I'll give that a whirl. But yeah, I like her stuff a lot, her base products. I've not tried her concealer. It's like, those are the hardest things to find because they're the most important things, are like your foundation and your concealers. I saw you pop in here, Nigel. What you got for us?
My finger slipped.
Oh. Okay.
Andrea says the CT is awesome, but you have to be careful not to use too much.
Yeah. I think that's basically the key with a lot of foundations. You like a little bit goes a long way, or else they'll get cakey. All right, I'm gonna put. I mean, oh, let me see. I'm still not in love with how this looks. It still looks like I need to maybe smoke that out a little bit. I don't know. I'm trying to be super light with it. Because these colors can be very overwhelming on me because of how light I am. Okay, I think just to make it look really nice and neat, I'm gonna add a little bit of liner to the outer edge here. It's a brown liner, for the record. This is the tattoo liner in Mad Max Brown. KVD. I just had it on hand. And I don't want it to look too perfect because that might look harsh. So I'm just kind of deliberately messing it up a little bit with this little Kryolan blue brush. Now, I don't know if you're on Patreon or not, but like I mentioned, I did make a trial of this where I showed off a lot of the shimmers. I did 2 different looks in that video, and the shimmers, especially that honey and the, I believe it was the Queen is the, which one is it? Yeah, Queen, which is kind of like that olive tone one. They're really beautiful on. Amber is also very beautiful, but okay, let me not put too fine of a point to it. If you're the kind of person that tans easily, or you have more melanin in your skin than I do, you should pick this up for sure. Like if you are a dark-skinned person that has a really beautiful kind of gold undertone to your complexion, this will sing on you. And by the way, you should buy a lot of multi-chromes because they pop on dark skin and look freaking phenomenal. And I have to work really hard to get them to look even a fraction as nice. So definitely highly recommend this. But if you don't tan easily, you're like me, and your version of a tan is when you turn lobster red and then it fades and then it freckles and peels and then you start right with what you began with, except now more freckles. If that's your story, this is gonna be hard. You know, unless you just really, really, really want it to be warm and you like the contrast and you like playing with the contrast because it grabs people's attention. Because even doing a really light kind of demure routine here, it's still very warm. I'm going to apply some brown black mascara, I think. Let me see what I got here for that. This is Carbon Black. Before I had brown black. I do. It's black brown. Forgive me. This is another L'Oreal Luminous Waterproof mascara. It's new. I haven't used it yet. I got it just because I ran out of my last kind of dark brown. So this way, it at least pulls it together a little bit and looks like a finished eye look. All right. Almost to the part where we get to put the hair on. Yay! So Nigel.
Yes.
When there are these long bits of silence, can you talk?
Okay.
If you talk and do like eyeliner or mascara at the same time, I will literally get it everywhere. And all of this will be for naught.
Shelley asks, could you tell us a little on what you do on Patreon?
Sure. Patreon is kind of like something that I'm still kind of developing. It's been up and running for a year, and I'm still trying to figure out what kind of goodies I want to give people for being on it. Within the last year, what we've been doing is giving people quarterly live streams where they can ask me candid Q&A type questions, and I just give them answers, and we just chat and hang out. I've also started giving them videos that are specific to Patreon that are not accessible to the rest of the audience. So in other words, I'm making Patreon exclusive content that complements this content, you know, so that way you don't have to pay to hang out and to, you know, see the wigs and all that stuff. But if you would like more, you know, and you would like a deeper dive into any of that stuff, it's kind of like the cherry on top of the cake. You know, I didn't want anyone to feel like I was strong arming them into signing up for Patreon, I guess is what I'm saying. But that way, if they do, they get a gift for it, you know, and that gift in this case is they get specialty content that is unique to Patreon. I'm still evolving that catalog. It has changed considerably from what I had anticipated doing with it, but right now what we're doing is the videos that are the tests for these eyeshadow trials. If I come out with any new products, they usually get a preview before the rest of the public. If I have enough time and enough of a lead, I usually tell them. If I'm on the fence about something, honey, can you turn your camera off if you're just going to give us elbow shots?
Sorry, I was just looking for something in this makeup bin that you...
Okay. So he's doing it from a new room today, so I think he's still got to get used to being on camera like this with the split screen going. We'll get you there. But no, I'm if I'm on the fence about something, if I get a prototype of something in and I kind of want to get feedback about it, I go to the Patreon subscribers and I tell them about it. Anything that I'm not sure if I should make content about it, I take it to Patreon first. So they get a lot of behind the scenes stuff that does not actually go out here on the main channel at any time, because I figure the people on Patreon want something a little bit more like intimate and behind the scenesy. And then stuff along those lines. Once in a while, we'll send them private coupons, just stuff like that, you know. And they also can communicate with me directly through Patreon, and that is something where, you know, I'm not like instantly responding, because unfortunately I have a lot of stuff to take care of on any given day. But I do make a point of going in there at least once or twice a week just to like talk to people and answer any questions that they send me directly. So it gives you a little bit more of a direct line to me and Nigel if you ever have questions, if you're a Patreon subscriber, basically. And I will continue to come up with new incentives to try to, you know, reward people for signing up. It's just a matter of time. I'm trying to settle into a groove before I add anything new, because it's already kind of a lot. But I'm into it, you know. What else we got, Nigel?
Cheryl says, I saw some wondrous polychromes from Concrete Minerals. They also have obsidian eye primer to make the colors sing.
I may have to try that. So I take it that it's a really dark colored primer. I actually would love that. I was actually just thinking about this today, Cheryl, because I have, it's not a primer. Whenever I need something dark down on something, I usually grab this, which is Natasha Denon's Black is Black Matte. It'd be nice to have something that isn't a powder-based makeup to go under that sort of thing. And I was particularly thinking about that while I was testing out this, which is next week's palette, which is the Enduring Love by Sydney Grace. I was trying to mess around with this Ruth color, which is kind of like a teal color. And boy, you'll see it in the Patreon video, but I kind of made myself look like I gave myself a black eye. It's funny. I left it in there because the mistakes matter and they're helpful too. But I think if I would have had a black primer, and I was literally, seriously just thinking about this today, if I had a black primer, that would have been a complete freaking game changer underneath that particular color. It would have made it look so vibrant, but instead it literally looked like a bruise.
Well, I've looked it up and I've got the product on another tab which I can send you after the live stream. Okay.
All right. Oh, I see. Dory. Hi, Dory. Don't worry about it. We're just happy you could join us. I mean, this is a new thing, new day, new time. So, and we're still doing the one tomorrow too at 6. But this is something new. So don't feel bad that you didn't catch on right away. The replay is there, and you can always watch it if you want to catch the stuff at the beginning, like when I put all this on my face.
And Shelly says, how do you get your lips to be so nice and plumped?
Well, 2 ways. One, I cheat. Okay, and I want to be really upfront about this. About twice a year, I get lip filler injections, and I actually they're pretty worn down at this point. I actually need to get them done again. So while I say that I cheat, I can't give all of the credit to it because basically, let's just say most of this is overlining and buxom balm at this point. I want to be really frank about any like cosmetic enhancements that I use because I don't ever want to try to play it off like it's a product, when in fact it's like medical alchemy. But, oh, it's upside down. But in essence, one of the big drawbacks to getting lip filler is that it's not permanent. I can say it and then I always mess it up.
Hyaluronic acid.
Did I say that right?
Hyaluronic acid.
Thank you. I know what it is. I could spell it. And then every time I go to say it, I feel like I'm a kindergartner tripping over my words. It is so ridiculous. I'm like, everyone take me seriously. And I can't even say that. But no, the problem with those fillers is that, especially in your lips, because your lips are constantly mobile, it doesn't last very long. Like it lasts maybe, 3-4 months, especially when you go as conservative as I do. I don't want the full on, Kardashian lip thing going on. So I go really, really small amounts and it doesn't last long. But when I get it done, it looks fantastic and I don't need to use the plumper. But, oh, thank you, Kathleen. Thank you so much. Thank you. I do want to put some hair on, I think. Let's see. Oh, the very thought of injecting anything into your face. Yeah, definitely don't do it if that's the reaction, because it is painful. Like people downplay how painful lip injections are. They are painful. I cry like a baby. My nose runs. It's literally disgusting. It's so bad. It's so bad. And so if you're in a pinch, again, overlining is an easy way to cheat this, and plumping lip balm helps a ton as well. And that's what I did to prep for today. Both of those things.
I just want to read this one last one before we continue with the hair, because it gives me a chance to do a Billy Crystal impression. You look marvelous, darling.
Thank you.
Loving your headpiece, says Dory.
Thank you. We sell hats. I don't know if we have this one anymore. But if something sells well, we buy more, make more, that sort of thing. So that was at one point something we sold on the site. Let me go ahead and put on my grip cap, which we do sell. This is a Milano grip cap. So Nigel, you've got control over the banners. Yeah. There we go. All right. So it's test time. This is a new color for us. This is the caramel latte color. And this is on the juniper wig. I just want to show you some of the layering here and kind of play with it for a second, because what kind of wig person would I be if I didn't shake it a little? Like, it's so flippy and flary and fun, and it's definitely shaggy. So here we go. This wig is definitely big head friendly. But it's not huge. Like, I don't swim in it. Like, I can't wear a wig that's in a large cap size because they're too big for me. This is basically Heather sized. It's just right. So okay, I'm gonna turn. Swivelly chairs are the best. So as I mentioned earlier, in case you missed it, I was trying to develop a non-heat friendly version of a really popular caramel macchiato color, and literally nothing seemed to come out right. But this one came the closest. I consider it a little bit darker and a little bit less blonde. So because of those two factors, I changed the color name. So that way people would know that this is a little bit more brown than the other color. So this is Caramel Latte R. But if you like the caramel macchiato in the heat-friendly wigs, this is probably going to be your best bet in the non-heat-friendly wigs that we're making with the Wigs Forever line. Now, here comes the question. Does this work with this hair color? Do you guys think so? Yeah. Cheryl says it looks good, Nigel. Anybody? If you feel free to pop on the screen, honey. There you go.
Okay. Dory saying loving it. Color 2. Cheryl says yes. Andrea says absolutely. Kathleen says yes, looks awesome.
I think
heart.
This really works. I think that it actually, this is almost like a match for what's going on the eyes. It looks really good.
So the general consensus is thumbs up, I think.
Things are about to get a little bit less simple for this, though, because we've got two kind of cool toned colors coming up. I think, honestly, I'm gonna go with the wild card next. I'm gonna go with the Moonlit Orchid. So Moonlit Orchid, it's purple. And I can go ahead and take over again, honey. Yeah, this is our first time at this, so I think we'll get into a rhythm after we do it a couple times. But yeah, this is what the back of this one looks like. And I'm going to take that off the screen for a moment, just so you can get a look at it. You can definitely see that there's some variation of color in here. And again, the root is a really cool ashy brown color. It's a shorter root than you'll get on the heat-friendly version of this color. And this is actually a little bit more shimmery, I think, in the non-heat-friendly version of the color. That's definitely, you know, what you would consider kind of like almost like a complementary color. Not quite, but it's almost on the opposite end of the color wheel from these kinds of like golden orange shades. If I used more of the yellow tones, it would absolutely be a complementary color. But it's really close. And it will clash, but sometimes that can look really interesting. So what do you think? It's a little harder to call, eh? I'll give you guys a second to kind of take a look, see if I can relax my face instead of smiling like a dork, so you can actually see all that. What do we think? I think so. I think it looks really interesting. You know, it definitely stands out a little bit more. Oh, Andrea, I also like, hey, Nigel, honey, when you put the comments on the screen, pop on the screen and read them out loud. There we go. There we go. Be the voice of the people.
Andrea says, I think that looks great too, and I love the purples and golds together.
I agree. I think it looks really cool.
Faith says yes. Tina says looks great. Girl says you look very yellow with this one.
I think some of that, though, to be fair, I think some of it might be coming down to this base makeup. It is not my normal base makeup. But yeah, I think it is definitely warm up against this, but it looks nifty.
Dory says loving it.
Hey, okay.
Kelly says I like this one even better.
Awesome.
Deb says still looks good, goes with the lid color.
Awesome.
And Cheryl says he is a voice.
See, that's why we need him to read your comments, because he's got such a good voice for this stuff. And he's just like pushing a button. I'm like, no, why would you withhold that delightful voice?
Yes, it's the bass.
That's exactly right.
All your bass are belong to us.
Okay.
You know that old gag.
Yeah.
All your bass are belong to us. Yeah.
Alrighty. And here is the cool color. I mean, it's not that Moonlit Orchid is necessarily warm, but this is definitely kind of like a platinum blonde color. And I'm going to go ahead and actually, let me shake the back of this just a little bit more so you can kind of see. Ooh. Ooh. I love the way the back of this looks. It's so cool. And because it's not in a heat-friendly synthetic fiber, it moves really, really well. That's one of the things I like about regular synthetics. They just move a lot better. Like, heat-friendly synthetics they're very not shiny. You know what I mean? So they make great integration pieces and stuff like that because they're not shiny. They'll blend in with your actual hair a little bit better. But when it comes to standalone wigs, I tend to personally like non-heat friendly is a little bit better because they move more naturally. They're not as stiff. They don't clump up at the bottoms. But if you like customizing your wigs, or you like certain colors, like it's impossible to get certain colors in a non-heat friendly wig and vice versa. So sometimes you just gotta pick and choose what's gonna be best for you. Oh man. Okay, so this is Juniper in Harlow Blonde. I'm just kind of messing her up a little bit. What's the consensus here?
Ooh la la, love it. And Cheryl says, I want this one too. Still waiting for the other people to chime in.
Let me relax my eyes a little bit so you can see.
Interesting, goes much better than I thought it would. I wore Piper and Harlow Blonde to work today, says Andrea.
Oh, Piper.
Cat. Oh, so cute.
I love that response.
Shelly still looks good.
Speaking of Piper, we will be making more of those for the fall. I haven't talked about it a whole lot yet just because like that's something like we're basically saving up the money to do a big fall order, but that will definitely be on it. A bunch of Pipers and a bunch of different colors, maybe even some new colors.
It's cute with this too, says J Deb.
Excellent. So I think here, let me. Whee! Okay, I did one.
Faith says would like a little bit more makeup with this one.
Yeah, I feel washed out. I do. So I think there's only one thing to do after we're done with these tests is I'm going to have to like flesh this out a little bit and add some pizzazz. I got sparkle. There are so many colors I didn't even touch. So I'm probably going to go a little bit crazier with it and just kind of amp up the eye look a little bit and see how that goes. But before I do that, let's make sure we passed our 2 tests. I think this was a yes from everybody that, yeah. If the colors are selected properly, and honey, yeah, there we go. Actually, give me a second. Let me find the thingy. Okay, so is it nude? If you are careful about the selection of colors, and I can go ahead and take over the screen, honey.
Okay.
Literally, my laptop that I was using to toggle died midstream. So I swear, these live streams are tricky, seriously, because like everything that can go wrong will go wrong, and you just kind of have to roll with it. So if you do these or think about doing these too, if this kind of stuff happens, just roll with it. Just have a contingency plan so that way it doesn't throw you off. Because we've met up with so many things, and I swear we actually rehearsed this earlier and it went fine. Always does. And then when you do the real thing, right? Murphy's Law. But anyway, you can't let it spoil your fun, basically, is what I'm saying. But if you choose your colors carefully, and you get a lot to choose from, if you stick to basically just the matte shades, I think this can be nude as long as you are comfortable with a warm nude and you use a soft touch. You know, if you tend to be heavy-handed with your eyeshadow application, this may be a non-starter if you're looking for a nude, because there is enough payoff with most of these colors that unless you use a light touch, it's going to be very, very bright. And in fact, I was very light when applying all of this. And then the second question is it neutral? Did it go with all three hair colors? I think it does, but I also agree that with this particular hair color, I look slightly washed out. It doesn't look unnatural or weird. I could definitely wear this to work. So I think it does pass both tests. I'm pretty surprised by that because as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't really expecting it, but I try to keep an open mind. And this is why, because, you know, sometimes I learn more from being wrong than I do by thinking I'm right. And this is a good case in point. So now that I've got those out of the way and we've tried some hair, I'm going to show you what some of these shimmers look like just because I have them here.
Couple things, my sweet.
Yeah.
Andrea has to call it a night. So good night, Andrea. Sleep well.
Good night, Andrea.
And Dory and a couple other people have been asking, what's the lipstick you're wearing?
Yes. I am wearing, actually, Nigel, you have the lipstick. It's that.
I have the lipstick.
Yeah.
Is this it?
Yes. It's actually just a gloss today and a lip liner. I used, can you tell them what the lip liner is as well?
It's Pat McGrath Labs. Sunset Rose. I'm not sure if you can get that. Pat McGrath Labs. Sunset Rose. And
it's really nice rose color. It's not too cool.
The Makeup Forever Aqua Lip.
And the color is? Turn it.
Good question. 1C. Is that a color?
Kind of like a light rosewood color. Yeah.
And
I think I want to. Well, okay. I'm going to follow my own advice because when it comes to these shadows, this honey color, this really vibrant gold, is very shimmery, and there is a lot of fallout. Honey, there we go. So yeah, this color is called Honey, and I'm gonna apply it last. I try to go like lighter and then progressively get darker as I apply, but this is one instance where I'm definitely not going to be doing that. And instead, I think I'm going to use this amber color. I'm still not really sure what I want to do with it, but I'm going to use a flatter brush. Maybe just build up this crease up here a little bit with it out in the corner. It's shiny. I'll lay it down and then I'll figure out what to do with it. It's such a pretty color, and it really applies vibrantly when you do it with your finger. It's just, I don't want the shimmery part to go everywhere. And because this is live, I'm trying to be a little bit conservative with how I apply it, just so we don't spend the next like 30 minutes with me cleaning it up just to make it look okay. How many of you have done that? I swear it's like every week I end up doing that at least once, where I get a little overconfident with my eyeliner in particular, and then it's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to be late for my own live stream because my eyeliner decided to run all over my face or something like that. Nigel. We got.
Nope, no new comments.
Yeah, but you are there, and you can talk to me while I do.
Oh, hey, so I can, yeah. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Helen says, this was great info and a fun way to spend my Friday night. Do I have a life? Yeah, Heather and Nigel are my friends. Thank you, Helen.
That's right. And I kind of, even though obviously if I were trying to make a ton of money off of YouTube, I would want a really huge audience. I actually kind of like how small and intimate these tend to be. I'm the kind of person, like, I don't hate parties, but I tend to like the ones where there aren't a lot of people, where we can all just kind of hang out and play board games, that sort of thing. Like, so I just love that we like to hang out with each other. This is so much fun, I think, for all of us.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, honey. Go ahead.
Because it definitely gives interactivity without risk of infection.
Yeah, that aspect too. But I think we'll probably keep this stuff up even after the pandemic. Because I really enjoy these live streams.
Yeah.
I enjoy out with you guys, and I enjoy playing around with makeup and any excuse to do that because it's fun. Okay, can you see how?
Cheryl says, yes, small is good because the comments go too fast to read. Boy, they go pretty darn fast, even with small amounts of people, as I will attest.
Yeah. All right, now I've just used a makeup wipe to try to wipe my finger off, and I'm trying to like wipe the residue off on my fingers a little bit. So I want to put this honey color on with my finger. It's so yellow. Oh my goodness. It's so yellow. It's so very, very bright.
Colleen says, thank you for the Grayson wig. It turns heads all day, lilac plum shade.
Yay! Oh, I'm glad you like Grayson. I think that's just such a flattering haircut. And I'm glad that other people like it on you too.
Shelley says, looking good.
Thank you. All right, we're nearing the home stretch. I'm not going to go crazy with my liner. I just kind of wanted to show off some of these untouched, untapped colors. All right, and I might just for kicks, a little bit more. I'm going to go heavy with it and just kind of put a little bit more of this amber color over here. Get kind of sloppy with it. Maybe take some of this queen color out in the edge with a big fluffy brush. Why not? I like this queen color a lot. It's a shimmer, but it's got kind of an olive undertone to it. Oh, check out the difference of just applying that queen color. How it kind of like added a little bit of a pop.
J-Deb says it's fun though. I'd like the yellow for a club look.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's really sharp. You just can't be easily intimidated by really warm colors. And sometimes they're just hard to do. If you've got a really cool skin tone. But I do want to kind of quote Kevin O'Coin a bit, who's like a really famous makeup artist. I have several of his books, and one thing that was really mind-blowing to learn from his makeup books, like for me at least, was, I'd always thought that I needed a foundation shade that absolutely perfectly matched my skin. And it depends on philosophically what you're trying to accomplish, because I guess ideally, if you're a makeup artist, what you're trying to do is not necessarily match your skin, but find something that will subtly neutralize whatever those undertones are, so you have a more neutral base to work with. And that was fascinating to learn. I was like, I have a cool skin tone, but I should be using a slightly warm, like neutral warm foundation. Game changer, because that enabled me to get away with a whole bunch of colors of eyeshadow and lipstick and stuff that I had never thought that I'd be able to pull off. And it was precisely because I was so busy trying to match my own skin tone that I was making my skin really cool. And the issue as you age with really cool undertones to your skin, if you're matching it with really cool tone makeup, it will age you. As you age, go ahead, I'll let you go ahead and get that off the screen for a second.
She says, look forward to your lives and now have Friday night with you guys, which is nice. Thank you, Faith.
Join us. But yeah, I'm going to go on a little spiel for a second about this. Like, as you age, your skin will naturally get a little bit more ashen looking. And in fact, in theater makeup, if people are trying to make you look older than your age, what kind of colors are they going to put on you? Are they going to put really warm, bright colors on you? Or are they going to put gray colors on you? Warm, like not warm, but like ashen colors. That's why gray eyeshadow is so hard to pull off. I mean, there's a reason why Jeffree Star called his palette the cremated palette, I think is what he called it, which is really tacky in a pandemic, but that's Jeffree Star for you. But it's because it will make you look like The Walking Dead if you've got a really cool pale skin tone and you wear a lot of gray on your face. It will make you look tired. It'll make you look older. And sometimes, again, complete game changer. If you find a complementary, subtle, warm way of picking up your complexion, it makes a lot more colors accessible to you, full stop, but it will also make you look younger. The thing though is that there's a real learning curve to using foundation shades that don't match your skin tone. Namely, you have to blend. You have to blend here. You have to blend here. You have to blend up in your hairline. Like, you have to blend a ton to make it look natural and soft. And you can see the evidence over the years as I've been experimenting with this. It's not always pretty, but it's like that learning curve, even if it doesn't work, is good for us to all kind of experience together. So if you don't like something I'm doing, you don't duplicate it. And if you do, you can. But yeah, I think when people ask me, you know, how can you get away with this or that when you have such cool skin? That's the reason why. It's because I'm really careful when I pick my base colors. And then I tend to play around a lot. Like, this is an extension of that. I am playing around with my makeup to see what I can personally get away with. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Right now, I think that the advertising that I read earlier from Urban Decay, as cheesy as it was accurate. I feel like I should be going to a disco. I feel very, very 1970s in all the right ways. And I would probably even put more like shimmer down here. And in fact, why not? Like, I'm actually taking this honey color and I'm putting it down here because why not? Seriously. Just kind of like a highlighter almost. You can see that it's not that opaque, particularly if you're spreading it around. It's more of like a glittery color. So, all right, I think that's it for this installation. Do we have any comments, or should I just bid everyone?
Yeah, give us a second here.
Oh, let me show you my shirt in case I haven't showed you. It's like, look at my chest, everyone. But I thought this was just too cute.
Right.
Yeah?
Cheryl's talk about finding the aging results too. She asks, how can we counter that?
Yeah, it's a really subtle process, but honestly, there are websites dedicated to this that will help you find a shade that is similar to, like, most of us at this point, not all, but most of us, after you've been wearing makeup for a while, you kind of know already what your base color is that will match your skin, at least for a given brand. And there are websites you can go to, like Temptalia, or even Sephora has this built into their website where you can find a shade that matches that. Well, there are websites that will take it a step further and they will show you complementary shades that are not too far off from that. Like, if you wear a neutral cool, it will show you the neutral warm equivalent. You know what I mean? And that's really what you want to gear yourself towards. Like, you don't want to go too drastic in the opposite direction because then it will just look unnatural. But if you go in baby steps, you know, and you might have to try a different brand to get there. But you try baby steps to find a shade that will add a little bit of gold, or find something that you can add and mix into it. And I do that constantly, where I can't find the perfect shade that'll neutralize my skin tone. So what I do is I take two different Makeup Forever shades and some Charlotte Tilbury and I mix them together. And, you know, you just kind of have to play around until you find the right match. And honestly, I think the best way to do that is maybe go, once these troubling times are over, go to like you know, the department store and ask for some samples if they've got them, or ask them, you know, if they can help you find a way to neutral, because it's always better if you've got somebody that's like a Sherpa that can help you find colors to play with, because otherwise this can get very expensive. And I know that because it's very expensive for me to buy this stuff and play with it, but it's something I enjoy. So it's not a waste. I find ways to use stuff even if I don't like it. I'm going to keep playing with this double wear foundation, even though I technically don't like it very much because I think it looks cakey. But there's got to be a way to make it work. People seem to really like it. Maybe I just haven't found the way. And then after I'm exhausted with not being able to make it work, I will give up on it. But you know, I unfortunately, I know I'm rambling, but yeah, it's literally like if you have a warm undertone, you want to find something that's got kind of a neutral or cool, neutral cool maybe base, and vice versa. But you might not want to go cool all the way if you've got a warm skin tone, or warm all the way if you have a cool skin tone. You might want to go for something that's like, you know, a baby step, something that has a neutral cool, neutral warm foundation instead. And, you know, if not, maybe blending your shade with that shade will get you where you need to go. But really, you just kind of want to play around with it and see what looks best. Yeah. For me, like whenever I try to use my actual skin tone, and I don't use any blush or anything like that on top of it, I look really pale. I mean, when I neutralize all the rosy tones and all the ivory in my skin, and you know, I use a little bit of a warmer tone foundation, I perk up. I look like I've gotten a lot of sleep. You know, I look a little younger. But if I go with my exact skin tone, I look very tired. Very, very, very tired.
Shelly says, I think this eye look will work with the other two wigs too.
Well, let's give it a shot.
Worth trying.
Yeah, why not? The wigs are here. We have that technology, so might as well. Oh,
there we go, folks.
This is so very gold. I definitely, absolutely 100% feel like.
I love gold.
What's that from?
Gold member, Austin Powers' third movie.
Yeah.
Wasn't very good. It came out, it started out as Gold member, turned into Jerry Lewis. I love gold. Nice lady. I'll.
Hey, people really love him, so. All right, so here is the Moonlit Orchid. And I realized that I didn't do my little 360. I'm going to put my sweater back on because the bingo wings are flapping proudly. One of these days, I'm going to get those puppies lopped off. Alrighty. One of these days. Did I just... You guys, this is why live streams are perilous. I literally just put the wrong arm on the wrong sleeve. Okay, now we're good. That's what the back of this one looks like. Definitely high contrast, but I think it looks really nifty. But then again, I love playing around with clashing colors. As long as it looks like I did it on purpose, then I tend to love it. I know that it's probably going to look really rad with this caramel latte, though. I'm so happy with how this color came out. And the rooting is almost non-existent on this one. It's a medium brown, and the base is medium brown. So very, very subtle. To the point, if I didn't actually call it a rooted color, you probably would not even know. I kind of like that about it. Makes it look kind of natural. I'm just playing with it. I find with this wig, the Juniper, the more I play with it and the messier I make her, the cuter she gets. And I can't figure out how I want to part this, so. I haven't used this one for anything other than a quick photo shoot for the listing, but it still needs to be styled a bit, I think. I think it looks great with this color, though. What do you guys think?
Shelly says, oh, yes, gorgeous.
Thank
Dory
you.
says, love it.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely easier with this eyeshadow palette when you go with like a really nice warm color like this. But
yeah, I think it works.
yeah, it looks really cool. So I think I'm going to leave it on a high note.
Yes.
I want to thank Faith and Dory and everyone who was able to join us tonight. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you for watching it on the replay as well. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, I highly advise it, because that's how we alert people to when we're doing these live streams and when we do new product launches and all that stuff. So you can sign up for that by just going to CysterWigs.com. And then don't forget to go to our community tab at least once a week if you're interested, because I will do frequent polling both on the main channel on YouTube, CysterWigs, and the CysterWigs 2 channel when it comes to our weekly live stream parties. Those are more of like fun, free-for-all kind of environment, and this will definitely have a little bit more of a structure to it. I want it to be kind of like quasi-educational, like infotainment type, you know? Because to me, it's like, I feel like a lot of beauty YouTubers got away from tutorials or got away from, you know, product reviews because they don't get as many views. I don't care about that stuff. I just want to do stuff that I would find helpful or interesting or entertaining if I were a viewer. So that's what we're trying to do here. But yeah, make sure you vote if you would like a specific eyeshadow palette to be featured. And Nigel and I would both like to thank you for joining us for tonight's live stream, and be sure to in the comments after the replay launches if there are any things that you would suggest that we do or don't do, or the things that we should try. We're open to any and all suggestions. So anything you want to say, honey, before we go?
Yeah, it's been fun testing out the new layout, the new equipment, the new format, and all that to try to see if it will work. And yeah, thanks for dropping by. Thanks for keeping us company, giving us something to do, and take it easy, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.